Or my ideal birth is I meet whatever the fuck shows up and I surrender to it and I let it move through me and I open to it and I'm in my motherfucking body. And that for me feels so powerful in the place I'm meeting this experience from. It doesn't feel good for me to be like, I orgasmically breathe the baby out and it only takes this amount of time. And like, I don't want to manifest the perfect birth. I want to meet whatever experience life wants me to have to bring this baby. I want to meet whatever I need to meet in order to give birth to our child.
Yeah. Yo, 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 lovers. Welcome to Sex, Love, and Everything in Between. We're the O'Neills. You're here with Meg and Jacob.
And this is the place we have really uncensored conversations about sex, intimacy, and relationships. We're super excited you're here. Enjoy this episode.
Hey, lovers.
Hi, beautiful humans.
Hey, lover.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
I'm great.
You pregnant?
I am pregnant.
38 weeks today.
Almost 38 weeks.
Almost 38 weeks. 2 days away.
Yeah. 2 days away from 38 weeks.
Anything could happen.
I know. It feels like that. Mm-hmm. It's a strange... I feel like a lot of being pregnant is just like, and I know I truly believe this is meant to be a very surreal experience. I don't think it's ever meant to feel like how are we ever meant to fully comprehend the reality of having a child until the child is here. And I've been very aware of that the whole pregnancy, but in the last 2 weeks, there's been a real like shift in energy of like, in the next month, our entire life is going to change. And also just feeling energetically pulled into that like birth portal and that space in between has felt so real. So yeah. And I think I'm at the time where it's like, it could be any day now, or it could be like a month away. And that's a strange, confronting, beautiful, like magical place to be in.
It's a pretty loose schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, just like
any time in the next month.
Yeah. And like even just the initiation of birth, like I know it's going to be such a rite of passage, and to be like, one of the biggest moments, if not the biggest, I would say the biggest moment of my life so far is going to come in the next month. Mm-hmm. Again, it could be tonight. It could be like, who knows? And that's just so wild. And so, yeah, like it's asking such a depth of trust and surrender and just letting go, which is beautiful.
And I too feel, I also feel that because we're doing this our way, which is very much to trust, there hasn't been kind of like the visitations to the doctors or the scans or any of that stuff, which kind of like, I guess, create some kind of rhythm or structure to the pregnancy.
That's true.
Yeah. So we haven't had that kind of routine as such. We've been going about our lives, and you've been so good at organizing all of the things that we need. And we've just got a nursing chair. And that thing is that is the holy grail of chairs.
Oh my God. It's like the only thing that we really...
It's the only thing we really got new.
Invested in.
Yeah.
You know, and grateful for all the humans that, we got so much secondhand stuff. Like my sister had twins 2 years ago. So we got a car seat, we got a pram, we got like all these different things from family members. Yeah. Clothes. We haven't bought one.
I haven't bought any clothes. Yeah.
Also, I'm like, that's not really my thing. I'm like even if I knew the gender of the baby, I don't think I would be out there like buying heaps of things.
I think once we get the baby,
once we get
the baby from the belly into the house,
then it'll be like, my God, wouldn't she look cute in that, or wouldn't he look, And
I think I kind of get why people have like little hats and little things at the counter. At like clothes, like I remember like all like the little hats on outside this newsagents. I'm like, if you walk past one of those and you've got a kid at home, you're like, I've got to put this on this kid.
Or you know someone with a child
Yes.
and you're like, oh my gosh, that baby needs to wear that. But we did buy a very fancy nursing chair and it arrived yesterday.
And we're keeping the cover over it so Django doesn't get on it. But it's incredible for the nervous system. It is.
Did you go all the way back?
I haven't gone all the way back.
Oh my God,
yet,
after this you have to.
just sitting in it and the way it rocks, it literally, it makes you feel like a baby.
Yeah.
Deeply healing chair. It's a healing chair.
I'm really excited to be in that chair a lot. Yeah. I'm a comfort gal. Yeah. And I was excited. I said, our friend Kristen was here yesterday just after this arrived and I was showing her it.
Shout out to Chrissy.
Kristen is our
nearest
a
and
lot of
dearest
things.
She's our dear friend.
But she was here and where was I going with that? Oh, like, when you make a purchase and you're a bit nervous as to, is it actually going to be as good as I think it's going to be? So with this nursing chair, I was like, I think it's going to be fucking amazing. But then there was this part of me that was like, oh, I hope it's like as comfortable as I'm envisioning and as it looks and as I'm imagining. Even fucking better.
Even better than that?
Even better.
Really?
Even better.
You don't, you have a little twinge of that, but when you buy something, you buy it and you have zero buyer's remorse when something like that happens. Hey, like you're really good at like really just drinking it in.
Am I?
Yeah.
Like what? Like this skirt I've gone on and I've worn like every day for the last week.
When I get
a new piece of clothing, I just wear it like every fucking day.
Our families are so different. If we get something that's brand new, we don't want to touch it. We don't want to go near it. We like almost fear the niceness or it almost becomes like it's a bit of a self-worth thing, I think. I've noticed that as like, if I get something brand new, I'm like, oh, I don't want to wreck it. I don't want to it's like, it has so much weight over me. I'm like, I don't want to, like, even you saying, do you want to sit on it? I don't want to sit on it. Like there's a part of me that's awkward about sitting on it. I'm just thinking about like the different things in my life where I'm like, I find it really hard to like, I remember like when I buy something new for myself, I get really kind of when I bought my surfboard at the start of the year.
I remember that.
I couldn't surf it. I was surfing a borrowed board, an old board of a mate's, and I was having the best surfs ever. Then I bought this brand new board, spent $1,000, and it made me feel sick, but in the shop buying it, it was so confronting. And then I couldn't surf properly for like a month because I was so worried about it getting dinged or breaking it.
I get that when it's like you're in an environment where like boards snap, boards break, like all of those things.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. No, because I've seen you with your laptop. You don't care.
In the last like 3 weeks, I knew I wanted a new laptop. I had a laptop for like 8 years and it used to be yours. And then my phone was pretty much done.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted new ones. Mm-hmm. And then my laptop fully died.
Yes.
And I had to go that very day and get a new one because it was just done. Same thing happened to my phone like 2 weeks later. So I have a brand new laptop and a brand new phone. And for like the first maybe like 20 minutes when I get them out of the case, I'm like, oh, I don't want to take it anywhere. I don't want to do anything. Next second, I'm in the bathtub with my laptop. It's thrown on the couch.
Where have you seen my laptop positioned in the house?
Nowhere.
Where?
On your desk.
My desk. And if it's not on the desk, it's in the case.
Mine's like right
Yours
beside
is right there
now.
next to a whole glass of water.
I know. Does that make you nervous?
And I love that you wrapped it up in a sarong when we went away. You wrapped your laptop up in a sarong like that's going to protect it. This piece of material, which is like it's see-through. It's see-through material that's wrong. And you were like, this will protect the $2,000 laptop that I've just purchased. You are.
Yeah, I don't have that much attachment to material things.
No.
I really don't, which I think is going to, we said this recently, I think that's going to really serve me in parenthood. Just being like, because I know,
It's not going to serve me at all, is it? Like my
but that's going to be one of your deepest practices.
Oh, okay.
Is the child has come in and
putting locks on my office door and not letting anyone in it.
Yeah, that could work too.
I was talking to our little friend. We've got our little friend.
Who's our
Kristen.
little friend?
No, another. I have to. It's a child. Sue me. I don't know why. When I can say friend, it's
our
kind
friend's son.
Yeah, our friend's son.
But they're
he's
also our friends. Yeah.
and we were talking about Lego, and I was like, well, you know, you'll get to come up and we'll have to go through all of my Lego that my mum's kept and make sure that we've got all the right pieces for when the baby is ready to play for it. He's like, but we'll have to teach the baby how to play properly, won't we? I was like, yeah, in case the baby tries to smash what we've created. He's like, yeah, we want to teach it. I'm like, yes, Sumi, we do. That's exactly right.
Okay. Well, I feel like Zach would be a bit like you in terms of like,
yes,
liking things
a particular
to be
way.
a certain way. Yeah.
And I just remember I built this it was the Ninja Lego. I'm sure someone out there that's listening will hopefully resonate with this. But the Ninja Lego was really cool when I was like 9 or 10. And I built the whole ninja, the Shaolin garden and the temples and I built it all up and had all of these different trapdoors and booby traps, and and I set all of it up. And then I, for some reason, left the room, and my little cousin Wyatt, my little brother Ryan, like just came in like two little Godzillas and just destroyed the entire thing that I'd built. And I remember coming back and I remember being like, how could they? I was like, how could you ruin this for me? And I remember smashing what was left and being really upset about. So it's like, what are these two doing here? Why are they in the house? Let's put them I was like, put them in a cage. Get them away from my things.
How old would you have been? Like 10?
Like 8 or 9. It was before we moved.
And they were like 2 or something.
Yeah, they were like 2-year-olds. Like, how could they not have known better? And I'm like, I think for me, like parenthood, the practice will be real. Like there's going to be a lot of healing for me and not expecting them to know the rules and know everything and do it perfectly.
Well, that comes up in our relationship.
Does it?
Yeah, you'll often say that to me like after, and I can tell, and we've spoken about this so many times here on the podcast too, but I can tell by your energy, your physicality, and just like the way you hold yourself when I'm doing something that you think that I'm doing it wrong. Your whole body tenses, and I'll just turn to you and be like, what do I usually say? Hey, you're not comfortable with the way I'm doing this, are you?
Yeah, I'm not.
And like I can feel when you have an internal rule that you're thinking, why, like what the fuck is she doing right now? Why the fuck is she doing it that way? And that's become playful in our relationship. And like, you know, so sometimes in our relationship, there's been times where I realize how important something is for you and I'll get you to teach. Like, it's almost like, okay, how would you do it? Okay, I can feel that's really important for you. I'm going to try that. And other times it's just like, hey, that's your discomfort. I'm going to keep doing it my way.
I would say the way that you like the level of communication that you like around what's going on, the same kind of that level of depth I like in the way that tasks are completed.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, there's points where it's like, I need to be okay with the way you do things. Yes. And there's also points where I'm like, hey, this is the way that I like it done because there's this and this.
Yes.
And actually provide a deeper understanding as to why that my way works.
Yes.
And it's my way or the highway.
Your way is right. I forgot to tell you the other day when your granny was here for the baby shower, and there were clothes here and I was folding them and she was helping me fold them. And she turns to me and goes, we're not going to fold them like he folds them, are we? Like she knew that and it was t-shirts because for those listening, Jacob has a very particular way he folds t-shirts.
The right way.
And you were in the fashion industry for
I was in the rag trade for a number of years.
So it is like the perfectly folded shirt for display.
So in the shamanic lineage that a lot of like from the Andes, there's this thing called the beauty way, and you want to create beauty with every single task that you undertake. So it's actually a shamanic practice to fold your shirts the way that I fold them.
And so it was just, your granny's so funny. So she was like, she picked up a shirt and she's like, I'm not going to fold it the way he likes it. Yeah. And I said to her, I tried that for a while, but it's really, really hard. So now I just do it the usual way. Because I really tried for a bit, but I wasn't getting it. And I think they looked worse.
With this, it's like, does it actually matter?
Yeah.
That's the question that I ask myself is like, does it actually matter whether this shirt, like, do I care if there's a few creases on my shirts? No, I don't. I genuinely don't. But it's more about the way that it's folded when I and I put it away. It's like that whole process for me is cathartic.
Yes.
Actually, when I put the shirt on, I don't care how it was folded.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect the way that it looks or feels on my body. So does it really fucking matter is a question that I ask myself in those moments. And with the T-shirts, it doesn't. With other things, it does. And it's just gauging on what is actually here for me to loosen up and relax, and other things hey, this is something that's important to me.
And I think that's such a beautiful piece to bring in relationship, because when you're in relationship with another person, you have different preferences and likes and dislikes and a whole different internal world.
Yes.
And so and if you're living together and creating a life together, there's going to be many, many things that you prefer done a certain way and they don't get it. And it is important to be is this even worth trying to change them for me to have that experience? Or can I let go of the perfectly folded shirt? But then other things, it's actually, this is really important to me. For you, it's a clean kitchen and these things, and that's because I can live in mess. You teaching me that and realizing that's a way that you feel really loved then really inspires me to be that does feel really good. I am going to do this. And that shifted how I enjoy to be in the home as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's such a beautiful question. It's does this, what was the question you said? Does this really
fucking matter?
Does this really matter?
And when you're creating a home together, it is a representation of two people. It's not just your home and you're the ruler of the roost. There's I've got turtle photo that you gave me. It's not from a what do you call it? A design. It's not it's just quite odd. It's just a big picture of a turtle. And
it's beautiful. It's from that, for anyone on the Gold Coast, it's from Sean Scott. Yeah. It's one of those glass, beautiful photos. I bought it for, I think was it first Christmas together or something? Yeah. You bought me a djembe drum and I bought you the turtle.
We sold the djembe drum on Marketplace when we were running out of money. Poor. But that turtle was never going.
I think we sold the djembe for what? Probably $30.
$80 or something. Yeah, it cost $280. A $200 loss on that djembe, which I would love to have right now. I'd love a djembe. We
sold so many cool things.
Yeah. I had a camper trailer that I sold that I should have kept.
You made money on that though.
Yeah, I know, but I realised I didn't because I put my Weber barbecue in there and sold it with that included. And I also paid for registration on the trailer, so I didn't make money.
Okay.
Lost money on that, or no, broke even. But these are the things that happen when you are on a path of discovering who you truly are. Back to the turtle, it's on the wall now, and I know that it's not... It doesn't please the eye of you. You don't find it, you don't walk past.
At our old house, I took it down and I put it in your office.
Yeah. When I walk past it, I love that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in this house now, we live in a really old style house. It's there's some beautiful pieces to it, but it's brick on the inside. It's not aesthetically beautiful. It doesn't have white walls. And so there's a homeliness to it.
Yeah.
So I feel the turtle fits.
Okay.
At our other house, there was those big, wide, expansive walls, and the turtle just looked just
perfect.
I didn't vibe it.
But I think this is part of and I don't know, for me, it's there's got to be things where you're willing to let go of, and other things that you just got to stand on that hill and die on.
Yeah.
It's the turtle's going up. It's going up somewhere in this house, and I'm never throwing it out. I'm sorry. Whereas I had this little set of drawers, and they're still in the garage to go. And I used to like to have them next to my bed. I was this is fine as a bedside table, and you'd be they have to go. They're ugly. And I've had them since I moved from WeWar.
It's the thing with the shapes in the middle, the table with the shapes.
Oh, no. I will never get rid of that.
They're also ugly.
Yeah. I love them. But now I have my own office, and if you come into my office...
Oh, God. Yeah. That's so bad.
But if you come into my office, you'll notice that there is a lot of knickknacks and little things to sit things on. I'm quite a like my office, I like to have things around me.
If people walked into your office and then mine, they would think you were the chaotic, messy one.
Yes, definitely. Right now, I've got shit everywhere.
Right now too, because my office is now
the baby room.
Or baby storage.
And I would argue that you don't really use your office at all because your laptop is sitting right there next to an open glass of water.
In the last 6 months, I've done more work in the bath than any other place. I have sometimes had 3 to 4 hour sessions in the bathtub.
And sometimes I'm sitting out in my office and I ask myself, does that really fucking matter? Do I need to go in and tell Meg that she's not meant to work in the bath? She's meant to work in her office. Like, and I say,
what do you mean she's meant to?
Well, you're not meant to work in the bath. You're meant to hop in the bath.
Who said that rule?
Me. Like, don't be doing that in the bath. What if the laptop falls in the water? What if you get electrocuted? There's so many things that I've had to reckon. Like, does it really matter? Yeah. She's like, why can't you just go and sit in your office and just do the work in your office?
Because I like to change it up. I like to be inspired by my environment. I like to be comfortable.
And hallelujah for you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter.
We were going to talk about how we're prepping for birth and baby. I love episodes like this where we're just
I think part of
see what arises.
I think like preparing the home has been you've really championed that, and like with me, and like I've been like almost preparing my business and my retreat that's coming up at the exact same time. I've been preparing. I'm almost like been like decluttering and preparing that so it's not in the space. I've almost been clearing out my energetic space so that doesn't sort of leak into the birth portal and the postpartum. But it's been. Yeah, we've been having a lot of processes, which has been beautiful. But
it was really beautiful yesterday. We actually sat down to record a podcast, and then this happened a few times lately, and not for ages before that. And then they just felt clunky, and we just had to stop a few minutes in, or 10 minutes in or so. But it was so beautiful, your reminder, because I've just been feeling emotional, like really emotional the last kind of 2 or 3 days. And nothing particular, like even coming into, it's not that I'm feeling a fear of giving birth. I think it's just being in such an uncertain time. Like there just doesn't feel like there's much to grasp onto. And also that real, like, it's like it's a death portal in a way as well, like moving from maiden to mother. And you reminded me yesterday, like when we were in these chairs and you were like, hey, everything comes up before a rite of passage. Yeah. Everything comes up before a big initiation. And I think I'd kind of forgotten that because my pregnancy to a certain degree has been very easeful. Like physically, there's been a few little things, but like emotionally, I haven't felt more emotional than usual. I'm a very emotional person anyway. Like, so I haven't felt a lot of fear, or there hasn't been big things to process throughout my pregnancy for me. But yeah, these last few days, it's quite a bit's come, like just like feeling a lot. And that was just such a beautiful reminder yesterday that it's like, oh yeah, I'm like moving into a rite of passage, and obviously this is all like I'm being shaken up and cleared out and prepared.
So in like any of the retreats I run, I'm going to use this as a sort of a side by side. Like there's a point where you start to feel the intensity of the experience, and a rite of passage really is to take you to your edge and then beyond it, and to give you literally an experience of death and rebirth. Like part of you is no longer, and there's a part of you that is yet to come, and there's like this sweet spot, this little moment in between where you don't know if you're actually going to make it through. And before that moment, all of the things are going to come up. All of the stories, all of the beliefs, all of the unspoken words, all of the unfelt emotions, they have to come up to make space for the deepest form of surrender. And this has been my experience in all of the different rites of passage I've done on a personal level for me to prepare for whatever's next in my life. But as a woman, like there is no real turning back. Like at Vision Quest, if I'm up the mountain for 3 days and then I get hungry, I can walk down and I can quit. You can't quit.
Yeah.
Like there's something, and there's probably a little bit of jealousy around that. Like there's a jealousy of like you don't get the opportunity. Like it's surrender or not. Surrender or die. It is. I say that not to make it too drastic, but like.
Do you mean that for the actual birth? Because I think there is like. I think there's other options, and it's surrender or not, and in the not there's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can go and do whatever you want at the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, or like
there's
there's still I think there's probably a lot of birth experiences that unfold, and surrender isn't a part of that.
Yeah, and that's where.
But I think that's where suffering and challenge and
that's where you don't get to meet the deepest part of you as well. And I think because of
I need to say something after this.
Say it now if you want.
I was just like, it was really, we have a stunning birth keeper. Like
we love her.
We love her so much. Her name is Leslie.
What do you love about Leslie?
I just love everything about Leslie.
What about her?
Leslie's just like so. I think we mentioned this on another podcast. We had another birth keeper. We'd only met with her once.
Yeah.
And I was like 30 something with like, so, you know, we didn't have any appointments with anyone until 30 something weeks. And then she couldn't attend our birth anymore. So we found Leslie like, a week and a half ago.
Yep.
I was 36 weeks pregnant. And she's just like so motherly and nurturing. Like the other day she's been coming just for visits, and she brought me roses and she made this date chocolate slice. And then I was like, oh, my feet have been a bit swollen. She's like, oh, okay, well, I'll give them a massage. And she stayed for a few hours, and we were in deep conversation, the three of us, and she massaged my feet like the whole time. Just felt so, I didn't realize like we're birthing, some people would call the way we're birthing free birth or sovereign birth or unassisted birth. Like we're not having a medical provider there. It'll just be us two and Leslie. And I thought there was a real part of me that thought I like that sovereignty, like I can do it by myself. This is mine. I don't need anyone else there. The birth keeper's probably just going to stand there and not do anything. And I thought that's what I wanted. And then now Leslie's in our life. I'm like, yes, to a certain degree, that is still it. But also, I didn't know how much I wanted to be nourished and nurtured even leading up to the birth, and how much of like that motherly love and holding that I was really aching for without knowing I was wanting that. And I'm so, now having Leslie, I'm so excited for our postpartum. I'm so excited for her to come like for the weeks afterwards and just love on me and touch me and feed me. And like that probably wasn't present with our other birth keeper that was going to come and support us. I just kind of felt like, oh, I want someone there and she'll kind of be in the space. And so I'm obsessed with her. But anyway, yesterday there's something called a TENS machine. And I think it's like you put it on and it kind of like.
Oh yeah, it kind of like tends you. Tends to you.
I don't know, like, I don't really know, but anyway, it's a pain relief type of thing. And I think it creates an intense sensation as well to maybe take away from the intense, I don't know. And if
that's a great explanation of a TENS machine. I love that. Was God, so good. So anyone that wants to look up, please go and look up a TENS machine. Because
is that what it is?
Neither of us actually know what it is.
Well, anyway, I've had a few people say to me, oh, you should get one. You should get one. And the whole time I'm like, I don't feel a yes to that at all. Like it's not exciting me. I'm just, and again, this is just my choice and what I feel in my body and how I'm choosing to birth. And I was just like, I'm a no, but I just want, the other day I was like, I want to check in with Leslie around what she thinks about this.
Yeah.
And I just messaged her and she voice recorded me and she was like, for her, she's like, my question would be if you wanted it, why are you trying to escape the pain? She's like, if you wanted that, my question would be, why are you trying to escape the pain? And there is an invitation here to go fully into the pain, that it annihilates you and what other word did she use? Basically that it annihilates you and you
Total annihilation.
and you are able to be rebirthed on the other side. And I was just like smiling and laughing as I was listening. And I was like, yeah, that's thank you. Because that's exactly how I'm seeing this birth. Like, I don't want to, and fuck, maybe when I'm in it, I'll be like, there's probably going to be part of me that's like, I want to escape this. I don't want to be in this. This is so fucking hard. Like, there's a potential that that's going to be my internal dialogue. I'm not naive to that. But what I know from my experience of life, plant medicine, embodiment, the way I meet life is like the only way is through. Mm-hmm. And the only way out is through. And it's like, you know, how can I give myself, and this is when I'm going through grief or going through something challenging or in a deep ceremony, it's like, how can I give myself so deeply to this experience that it can transform me and it can alchemize me. And any time that I'm trying to like, almost like escape it and not feel it, I'm actually trying to escape the initiation. I'm actually not fully offering myself, like becoming the offering for the ceremony and for the rite of passage. And so I was just like so obsessed with her response to that, because I'm just like, yes, like you've got me. I just feel so seen and met in the way that we meet life, and the way that she meets life, and she meets and holds this ceremony too. And yeah, so I just wanted to share that because I hadn't shared that with you yet.
I love her.
Me too.
I think there is a part of me that feels like, you know, with how everything unfolded and having Leslie in our lives now, I feel a lot more supported personally, that you have someone else that you feel really safe with. And I don't know if any other men can resonate with this, but because we haven't engaged with the medical system at all, and because we've only had literally one meeting with our other birth keeper before Leslie, and we've only really had 3 sessions in total with people. And we've listened to podcasts and and watched some documentaries and those things. But like, there was a level of responsibility that I was feeling I had that I didn't feel like I knew what I was like, wow, like I can hold space 100%, but this is new territory for me as well. And there's for any man that wants to look after or care for his woman, like there is a level of respecting a woman in her process and not making it about your discomfort. And that's what I'm so grateful to have Leslie now. Is like, for me, we're writing down our birth story or our ideal, our intention, or how we see the birth unfolding. And I was like, one of the key things I wrote was like, I want like having Leslie available. So when I wobble, that wobble doesn't get directed toward you. I can wobble and then lean on her and find my feet and then step back in.
I love that.
And I think that's what a lot of men need in these spaces where we are a lot more present, or where we're being invited to be a part of the birth experience. After speaking to my nan, who my pop wasn't present for any of the 3 births that she had, and that was the way it was back then. That wasn't abnormal for her. She wasn't the odd one out. That was status quo. He was away for work when she had the baby. He was in bed once when she was down at the hospital. And I just think there's such lineage healing that can occur if we don't kind of swing the pendulum and be like, okay, men were never in the birth portal. Now they have to be there, and it only has to be them, and almost like become righteous the other way. And it's like, what actually feels right for the intention we're setting, and what feels right for our dynamic, and what we feel is the most appropriate structure to bring this baby here in the most beautifully transformative way, not just for the being, but for us as well. So we actually have what I believe an initiation does, it gives you the capacity to meet what comes after it, and to deny you the pain with a machine, or to deny you the full surrender that's required, is to deny you that capacity to meet whatever's on the other side as well. And yeah, I probably have a lot to say about people stepping in and denying people the full experience because they're uncomfortable with someone else's pain. I see this all the time in men's work when a man is about to go through a process that is an initiatory sequence and he's about to have his moment where he fully lets go. Guys get weird. They get awkward. They start to feel uncomfortable in themselves. So then they try to mediate, or they try to temper, or they try to alleviate the pain that person is feeling because it's too uncomfortable for them to witness.
And don't we? I was contemplating this morning. We've just a dear friend is moving through a lot of grief around something in her life right now. And I met up with her this morning and she just like ran into my arms and just like burst out crying. And I was just holding her for minutes. And then, you know, I was just reflecting on that as we then walked down to the beach. I'm like, oh, like we're in a public place. She was just bawling her eyes out. I was just holding her like, to not try and change that or like make her feel better. For me just to be able to hold her in like her grief and the like the shittiness of what's unfolding for her. Like that's so for men and women, like being able to hold each other or to hold other men or to hold other women in that space where, yeah, we're not trying to deny them their initiation. And I say this inside Full Spectrum Woman, especially that like when you witness another woman in grief or in an uncomfortable emotion, do not try and fix her. Like she is not something to be fixed. And in fact, this becomes an initiatory process for us as the witness in being with our own discomfort, in holding that, not trying to change that person so we don't feel uncomfortable, but being able to sit like that's I think like the epitome of what emotional intelligence or like living heart-led and being cracked open is like being able to sit with someone, whether it's someone you love or someone, I don't know, but like someone going through shit and let them go through shit.
Yes. The, can I share something? I did a podcast today with a dear bro that's, it's funny, I've never met him, but we've been, jamming back and forth for the last few years. He's over in America, but he does men's work and he's been in a 15-year-long relationship with his fiance. He's doing John Weiland's teacher training. And he said, like, when it comes to emotional intelligence, it needs to be broken down, right? So the first step is awareness. I am feeling, or you are feeling. And then the next step is understanding why that feeling is happening. I am feeling sad because I'm listening to a song that reminds me of a time when I broke up with an ex-partner, or when my parent was really sick and I was worried, or it reminds me of the time where I didn't feel like I had it's bringing up sadness. And then the third part is the actual emotional regulation or the emotional and building of the emotional resilience, which is to actually let the emotion move through your body. So emotional intelligence just isn't the knowing I'm sad. Yeah. It's the understanding where that sadness is coming from and then how to move that emotion through your body.
That's beautiful.
And I think that's a cool thing for, it's all well and good to do to read the holistic psychologist stuff on Instagram, like, oh, cool. Okay. I know that this feeling is sadness and it comes from this childhood wound, but you've only done 2 steps. The next part is to actually alchemize that emotion by moving it through your body. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of men who listen to a lot of podcasts or read a lot of books and we become really, really emotionally intelligent from the shoulders up. Yeah. I know the feeling, I understand where it comes from, but I haven't had the experience of feeling it and clearing out my nervous system appropriately so I can become a space for whatever the next moment is asking of me. And I think that's what I really, really am clear on for the birth portal is like, I want to be a space, an empty space.
Yeah. And no doubt, I think and I'm sure you've spoken to other men about this, and I've heard men speak to this as well, that is a challenging role for a man in the birth space is like almost the helplessness. I've heard quite a few fathers describe it as that, like this helpless feeling of witnessing the woman that you love move through probably the most intense experience of her life, or one of, and you not being able to do anything, you not being able to take that away from her. You having to just allow her to move through that initiation. And that I'm sure that's going to be challenging.
Yeah. Do you want to know where I think that comes from?
Where?
I feel like that's the deep, like we haven't been taught how to trust the feminine, and like the feminine leadership that you talk of, like the deep wisdom that's innate in a woman's biology.
Yeah.
Like if we learn to relate to that and build a deep trust and faith in that you're doing exactly what you're here to do, and respecting that and revering that, like that, and we practice that, and we have to practice that as men. Otherwise, we're going to try to control the experience that you have and force it into a sterilized environment where it happens, and we control all of the outcomes and all of the parameters. And then we have risk assessments, and we have pieces of paper that get involved in something that they really have no place getting involved in my opinion. And everyone is open and
if that's where a woman or people feel safe to birth and how they feel safe to birth, perfect.
That's what I was just about to say. And I also, like, I can sit here and be like, that doesn't feel true for me.
Yeah.
And I think that if a lot of people actually got the opportunity to do some of the work that we have done, they would feel the call into the more natural processes that I believe in. And I say that sitting here with a phone next to me and air conditioning and I'm not saying we need to go backwards and go and live in the bush and have no access to the modern world, but I do believe there are some of these these rites of passage that we don't give them enough room to breathe, enough space to really alchemize and legitimately create a new version of someone.
Yeah. And I even you sharing that, I'm like, oh, I don't mean to even project that story onto you around feeling helpless. Does that feel like something that that's
a collective, that's collectively true. I believe that every man and myself, there is a level of, and there is the story of like, I want to protect you from pain. That's why men go to war, because they believe they're protecting the women and children. That's why that's what like most sane men would, if a woman's cold, what do? You'd give her your jacket. Like most sane men, most men that have an ounce of common decency and haven't been corrupted by the internet. But like there is a desire to take care of. Yeah. And part of that taking care of is, I don't want you to be in pain. And if we use that as a blanket approach of any pain you feel is bad and I am responsible for taking that pain away from you, we then deny you the rite of passage, which is actually what is necessary for you to have the capacity to be the mother that you're here to be. Oof. And I think that every woman's birth is exactly the way it's meant to be, and I trust that. And I also know that if we interfere as men, as others, the person not going through the experience, if we interfere, we are making it about us. There's a difference between interfering and tending too. And this is why all of the great sages and medicine men and women were guides. They weren't coaches, or they weren't doctors as such. They were healers, they were mentors, they were guides, they were people that tended to the container that you were having your experience in. I've crawled out of sweat lodges screaming at the top of my lungs, I'm going to die, spewing and crying and shivering and shaking. And I just remember one of the brothers just came and dumped a big bucket of water on me. I'm screaming, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And he just starts rubbing my back, and then all of a sudden he just starts giggling. He's like, you're not going to die, bro. It's all good. We got you. And I was just started, and like that rest, I just started, rather than him being like, trying to like take that I'm going to die away from me. He's like, it's okay, bro. You got this. You're not going to die. We got you. And it's like, that was a moment of like being tended to. And I imagine there's going to be moments in the birth portal. We're calling it a portal. Yeah. We're going to call it that. Or is that the birth experience? That you will have moments where you wobble, and my role won't be to take that wobble away from you. It'll be to steady you. Hey, my love. And it might not even be words. It might just be a touch. It might be my intention. It might be the way that I breathe my feeling into the space to wrap you. And
to bring me back into myself,
bring you back into yourself,
to like
escape,
change my experience. Yeah. And I know, like, and I no doubt I'm not going into this experience I'm not going into this experience with that it's like, oh my God, it's going to be so painful and I'm really fucking scared. I like the word intensity. I have no doubt that this is going to be an extremely intense experience and is going to call me into parts of myself that I haven't been called into before. And I do have a feeling that there's going to be moments that I will want to escape, and I will want to, where my mind will go like, fuck this. Like, I want this to be over. I can't do this anymore. Like, there's the very real potential that is going to unfold, just like in any intense experience.
That's what a rite of passage. That's a rite of passage,
right? In the medicine experiences, there's many moments where I'm like, "Fuck this! I don't want. I wish I wouldn't have drunk this medicine. I don't want.
Why did I do this?
Yeah,
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I want
this
it
would stop.
I want it to be over. And I know from that experience too that, like, there is no out, and that's something also in the way that we're choosing to birth. In this sovereign way that where was I going with that? I keep losing. I'm going into this experience also knowing that, like, no one can take this from me. This is my initiation. You can't make it better. Like, Leslie's going to be here, like you said, tending to the space, but she can't move through the experience. Like, I have to meet this rite of passage. I have to meet the intensity. I have to meet whatever unfolds. I have to move through this in my own body. No one else can. And yeah, I feel really that feels like that feels so powerful to meet this in. And that's the only, even when Leslie said, what's like our ideal birth? How does it unfold? I honestly I haven't really been playing in that. But my ideal birth is I meet whatever the fuck shows up and I surrender to it and I let it move through me and I open to it and I'm in my motherfucking body. And that for me feels so powerful in the place I'm meeting this experience from. It doesn't feel good for me to be like, I orgasmically breathe the baby out and it only takes this amount of time. And like, I don't want to manifest the perfect birth. I want to meet whatever experience life wants me to have to bring this baby. I want to meet whatever I need to meet in order to give birth to our child.
Yeah. And I think that manifestation, or like what's your ideal birth, I think it can almost be like it can be countering a lot of the stories or the programming that you may have picked up. It's like, I've got to like reprogram my brain to be like, okay, this is the perfect birth that I want. And it can become just another expectation or fixation. But I'm like, in the wild, like when an elephant gives birth, does it for the 3 weeks leading in, is it like, I'm going to have this type of birth and I'm going to make sure that I'm here and I'm going to have these pillows? No, I watched a birth of an elephant and the elephant just comes out of the mother and lands on the ground. And then the mother walks around it and looks at it and then starts to nudge it and it stands up and walks. And it's like, that was birth. Like, I think there can be a controlling of birth in the sense of like, we need to do it this way and it needs to be in this setting, in this environment. There can almost be like, it needs to be orgasmic and deeply spiritual and holy and earth-shatteringly opening and all of those things. And if it's not that, then I'm not getting the birth that I want. But like you said, like you're here to meet whatever is in that birth space with as much openness and surrender as you can, and meet the parts of you that don't want to open and surrender and breathe into them.
And I know that is what's going to prepare me for motherhood.
Correct.
Like that. It's having my perfect birth, and I will have my perfect birth because it will be whatever it needs to be. But like having the perfect birth in quotation marks, that might not be the preparation I need. And yeah, again, I would like, and I've really learnt this from a lot of the ceremony work we've done as well. And for those listening, I love comfort. I love being physically comfortable. Even on plant medicine, there's been days where it's been rain. We've been walking up mountains on medicine and it's been raining and windy and cold and I've hated it. And all I've been focusing on is like, I hate this. I wish it was sunny. I hate this. I wish it wasn't cold. Like, and I needed to experience that. Like there was I learned so much about how the external environment dictates how I feel and how I'm like, oh, I can only feel happy and have a transformative time when, you know, I'm feeling pleasure and the sun is shining on my body and the temperature is perfect and
there's room for me to dance and
like
no one's watching me, but there's people around me.
yes. Like how I'm trying to control the experience so that it can be what I want it to be. But again, like rites of passage, initiation, and life in general as like the big initiation that it is, it's not like that. It isn't like that.
No way. Not at all. Yeah, I'm just like, it's all starting to drop in for me around like what my rite of passage is in this season of life. It is to like literally not to be in the hot seat, is to literally be the witness.
Yeah.
Like I'm witnessing you go through a rite of passage that I will never experience. And I am going to be asked to meet parts of myself that want to intervene, that want to control your experience and check in and be like, oh, what do you need? Like, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I want to help. I want to do this. Yeah. And I'm going to have to really be discerning and really fiercely present. And on the other side of that is like the men's retreat that I've been running for the last this is the third year. I'm not going to be there. And I'm running one of the biggest men's retreats in Australia, and I'm not going to be there. And that is a huge letting go for me as well. So there's these two parts of my life that I love and care about and want to protect because they mean so much to me. And I'm being asked to literally take a step back and witness both of them in their in their becoming.
Oh, I love that. Did that just land for you, the witnessing piece of both of those?
Yeah.
And being able to trust both of those entities, like me and our child, and also the gathering of men.
Gathering of men. And I had I'm really looking forward to releasing the episode with Jose because he and I, it was just so beautiful. I just felt so seen. But we were talking about how when you learn to honor the vision and you learn to honor the love and connection with your partner, they actually start to feed each other. And I feel that is what I'm being asked to really, really hone in on in this season of life is how do I honor and respect both of these entities, you, my love, my vision, the gathering of men, and how do I let go of them and witness them and be there and tend to them and not think it has to be one or the other and not think that I have to be almost like so deeply it's almost as, and this is probably a piece that I'm not haven't been aware of. It's like almost if I fully let go of the gathering of men and I put all of my eggs in the one basket with you and I only give myself to you for the rest of my life and I don't feed that part of my life, I feel that I would become so attached to you and I would become so insecure and needy and anxious and I'd worry about you all the time and I'd be so engrossed in making sure that everything that could happen that was bad wouldn't happen, everything that was good would happen. And I'd become almost like, there's a part of me that would become so engrossed. And I think both of those, having both of these, the thing that gives me impact and the thing that gives me intimacy, they actually feed each other. And I'm just realizing that and I'm almost like having another version of like surrender to it will be what it will be. Yeah. In my own way.
And that has, like this time period too, even with the gathering of men, you're saying you're not going to be there, but there is a potential depending on when we birth this baby. It's just all up in the air right now because, because they're pretty much happening at the same time. But there is this level of I think that is also adding to this time feeling very like, this space between and we're just waiting to see when this baby wants to come, when we'll be in our postpartum bubble, if you'll be able to go and be fully a part of that experience or go for a few days or whatever that's going to look like. Which is like, I think adding to this like deep piece of, can we trust the timeline? Can we trust the unfolding?
And can we trust what we've built?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying externally what we've built, but can we trust the prayer, the embodied prayer? Like, can we trust that the life that we've been living and the ceremony that we've been engaged with, that is life, can we trust that there's a force greater than us that's got our back. Like, can I really rest into that no matter what, like when I'm wobbling and you're birthing our baby and you're surging and moving through the cycles of intensity, can I call on something greater? Can I call on, call in the ancestors, call in the mountains, call in Great Spirit and Mother Earth and be like, show me what I'm capable of holding. Show me how to be the man that this woman needs me to be right now, which makes me, really emotional because I just really love you.
I really love you.
Yeah, I'm terrified of fucking it up, I think.
Which part, when you say fucking it up, what's
Not
it?
being what you need me to be in those moments because I haven't done what I needed to do. I haven't prepared appropriately.
You're going to be exactly what I need you to be.
Yeah.
You are exactly what I need you to be.
And it's a lot. I think it's a lot to be one step back from the experience. I think it's a lot for someone who, especially if you got a bit of nice guy and wanting to do everything for everyone, for your partner, if you have that in yourself and you wrestle with that, like there's a part of me, it's like, I wish you didn't have to go through that. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when we have a child and our child gets sick and has a runny nose or feels upset about something or has their heart broken or something like that. It's going to, I don't know what that's going to feel like.
Yeah.
Because part of me never wants anyone to ever be hurt or feel pain. And that's my path, to let go of that and trust that that is what that person needs, or that you're going to have the experience you need to have to become the woman that you're here to become in service to you, me, the baby, the world, Django. Yeah, it's a lot.
Thank you for sharing that.
I just want to shout out anyone that's been through this. Like, I don't know. We spend a lot of time together and you definitely feel a lot. I think a lot maybe. But like there is a lot to it. There is a lot to being a human in this modern world that can create a lot of weight. And if you don't have the right people around you, if you don't build like strong bonds with people that you trust that can hold you and, actually learn how to feel your feelings and become more and more comfortable with parts of the world that are unknown, you will, it seems to only get harder and create more suffering. So for me, this is like, of course, all of this stuff's coming up now. So when we do get to the point where your waters, what happens with the waters again? I don't want to say the word break. There's another word, release.
Yeah.
When your waters release, because we're having the perfect birth, it's going to be orgasmic for both of us. I'm going to be self-pleasuring in the corner.
Oh, that's so creepy.
I'm just imagining Leslie like supporting you and I'm over in the corner just self-pleasuring and just...
You're like, I'm calling in the orgasmic energy.
Put on my birth playlist.
We were joking about that recently. Who was over and we were joking about that? Like you, like just imagining like as a joke, like you just making it all about you. Like, yes, I can feel a surge coming on too. I am here in the experience with you.
I'm very empathic.
This one's intense. Yeah. I'm taking it. Let me have this one. I'll take it for you. Like, imagine if you just made it all about you.
Far out, man. I think if that happened, I think if you were a birth keeper and a man started doing that, you'd have to knock him out.
Yeah, you'd have to get him out of the space.
No, you'd have to punch him. Like, he'd have to be, it'd have to be a broken nose minimum.
I feel like that needs to be, there's like ultra spiritual people on Instagram, like the kind of comedy things. That needs to be one. Like, I'm feeling so much of this. Let me take this surge for you. Yeah,
I'll be on my hands and knees. Get the second birth pull. Move over. I need to hop in.
You can feel the ring of fire.
I got lightning crotch. Oh, am I crowning?
Oh God! Please don't do that. Not even as a joke.
No. And that's fun to joke about now, but I will not be bringing those jokes into
No,
the
not at all.
space.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel complete. This feels like I feel really connected to you right now.
What's the most important thing in the world to you?
You.
No.
Connecting
Feeling
to you.
connected to me. Because you can have me,
We've
but not
been
be
having,
connected.
that's been a lot of what's been coming up lately. Jacob's been busy and I've felt, I don't even know if it's true or real or if I'm just really sensitive, but I've been wanting more connection.
You're going through a rite of passage.
I know.
And we want as much of what is familiar when the unknown is knocking on the door.
Oh, say that again. That feels very true.
We want as much of what is familiar when the unknown is knocking at our door.
Yeah.
Make sure we snip at that one, team.
Get on that one, Riz. Okay. This has been beautiful. Thank you for joining us. I was going to say this might be the last one before maybe the next time you see us.
We will have a baby, maybe.
We'll have a baby, but maybe, who knows, we might get a few more podcasts.
We'll probably do another
then.
couple more before then, but yeah, depending on when they're released, maybe we'll delete them and just start with fresh ones so we can have the baby in the video. Who will get to hold the baby? Hopefully me.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to add?
I'm complete. Yeah, love rocks.
Love rocks, baby.
See you next week.
See you soon.
Big love.
Bye.
Peace.
Yo. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Sex, Love, and Everything in Between. Now, if you'd like to stay connected with Meg and I, you can head on over to Instagram and follow me at the Jacob O'Neill. And where can people find you, lover?
At b.meg.o.
Amazing. And yeah, guys, check out the show notes for all other information in regards to what we've got coming up. And yeah, we're super, super grateful that you guys have taken the time to listen in to this podcast. If you do have any topics or any questions, like I said, hit us up on Instagram and we'll see what we can do. Apart from that, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day.
Thanks for being here.
Big love.